Dave Park, co-founder of Narada AI. I've got my colleague, Fernando Delgado, head of growth. And based on years of research we led at the UC Berkeley AI Research Lab, we've been developing, largely in stealth mode, a large action model over the past 2 years, where just by chatting with it, describing in natural language what you need, it'll actually generate code on the fly to reason, plan, and execute across different business tools and systems and portals. And it actually does this by invoking APIs, if APIs are available, MCPs, but a lot of times enterprise tools have neither. And so in that case, we actually have UI agents that reasons about the underlying HTML, the DOM, and even vision to actually execute those steps through the web browser to automate the task. So I'll hand it over to Fernando here, just to give you a demo.
Hi, everybody. So we like to show this demo because if you're in the enterprise, you know that Concur sucks. It's a huge pain for everybody. But this isn't just to show that we are an expense automation tool, right? We're truly an agnostic horizontal play. Our models can be applied to theoretically any business unit or any workflow, any enterprise tool, whether it's homegrown or traditional like ServiceNow, Salesforce, Jira. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and press play, and I'll stop it a couple times just to explain a few things. Quick pause. It lives in your browser as a Chrome extension, right? You could prompt it with natural language or through voice. Like in this instance, I'm just adding it to add the expense to Concur and add my teammate, Luffy, and myself as attendees. And it'll take context from the left-hand side of the screen, right? So in this instance, a picture of a receipt from our favorite pho place. Narada, where traditional automation usually breaks is when exceptions happen or it runs into blockers. Narada, instead of just hallucinating or breaking like traditional, maybe robotic process automation would, it actually comes back to the user, right? So there wasn't enough context on which report to upload this to. So it came back to the user, myself, and I'll give it the actual context, right? It's similar if you're not logged into your Salesforce or whatever enterprise tool, right? It'll know that you're not logged in. It'll ask you to log in, and then it will go ahead and continue that workflow. You can pay attention to the speed here with all the input fields, but now it's going to operate the browser as if a human was doing it and fill out, given the context of the left-hand side of the screen, fill out all the necessary input fields and even upload the receipt as well. So because it can take the context from that, the left-hand side of the screen, it could fill out the input fields in parallel, so much faster than a human can do it. And you can really see the speed when it uploads the attendees as well. Yeah. I'll pause it there for now. Dave, anything else?
Keep going.
Awesome. All right. So example number 2, hotel receipts, right? Hotel receipts with Concur, different workflow than traditional dinner receipts. You got to do the itemizations. You got to do a lot of the math behind the scenes to actually get this expense done. So I'll upload the receipt like a PDF, and just like the dinner receipt, it'll go ahead and take the context, pull out all the necessary data and information, do the itemizations as well, and fill out all the necessary information on input field. So where this actually really matters, right? The Concur doesn't have a lot of APIs. It doesn't have many robust APIs. So we could do this with the APIs that are available, but also through the front end as well, through our browser use automation and UI agent. It doesn't really matter, right? We like to show that Concur, we can do this with Concur because it's a more complex tool and it's a huge pain in the enterprise. But we could do this with any enterprise tool. Nasty workflows that take 18 different tools or 5 different days to do it, multiple persons per team. In this instance, I gave a bunch of notes to our Narada agent and added to upload them to Salesforce and upload the opportunity stage as well. And you could see it in the example that it's going ahead uploading the notes and updating the opportunity stage as well. And now to show that it doesn't really matter what user interface the end customer is using, I'm going to feed the same prompt and ask it to do it to HubSpot instead, right? So eventually, what we think is going to happen is that users are going to be much like Tony Stark and Iron Man, where they're going to be talking to their own Jarvis that could operate any tool, right? Eventually, maybe on the consumer side, OpenTable, DoorDash, Southwest, but we're building specifically for the enterprise. So knowledge workers, Not just engineers, right, can just communicate with their agent in natural language, ask it to do a variety of different things, and our agent will actually know how to operate those different browsers, different tools, without having to spend a bunch of training on the user side for different tools.
Yeah, and just to conclude, we actually have an agent builder for citizen developers. So if you have repetitive workflows, you can actually set up the automation steps in natural language versus doing hard-coded RPA or bots. And you can actually run it unattended, schedule it, and most importantly, because we're doing things agentically, if let's say tomorrow the layout for Salesforce or the fields in the expense reporting page suddenly changed because the CIO changed it, we can agentically self-heal and self-adapt versus breaking. So thanks so much for the time and happy to chat afterwards.